Z&T, cause I'm the best in the game. I got the fame, the style that isn't lame.
Hey, is there a cassette tape anywhere?
I sure do. This cassette is the best, I can attest. Best cassette in the east to the west. Yeah, I ain't a rapper. This cassette's dapper. I'm no capper.
Okay, do you mind if I take that off your hands?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you.
No problem, bro.
And this is this week's Closet Classics.
Good evening. Welcome to our town Say It Like It Is. My name is Virginia Mooney, and I'm your hostess for the evening. We're going to start off our season this year with Cindy Mattson, who was considered to come and do her wonderful flower display for the spring and summer, actually. And Cindy is consented to come back in another week or so and do a seedling show for us to show us just exactly how we should take care of our seedlings and what we should do with them in order to make them grow beautifully. So right away, I'm going to let Cindy get going on her show because I know it takes time, and I want to welcome you here again,
thank
Cindy,
you.
and get going.
Okay. I'm going to do silk arrangements this time. And what I have here is a cute little birdhouse container. This is from Flora, and I have a container that it's going to be placed on, and then the flowers are going to be at the bottom. And then this whole piece is removable after you're finished with it if you want to put the birdhouse in a different container, and it just sits right on top. So the material, when you're doing fresh arrangements, we use Oasis, and when we are making silk and permanent botanical arrangements, we use Sahara. So this is the dry material, and I have a pan of hot glue here that I'm just going to dip the corners in, just so that this will stay secure. And then I'm going to slide it right over the centerpiece here. And this foam material is a material that the flowers will fit into and around. This is spring and summer. I have some spring and summer flowers. This came in a bunch all together, and what I'm going to do, instead of just taking the whole bunch and sticking it in the vase, is I'm going to cut them apart. We have a bunch of different types. We have poppies, these are poppies, and then we have Gerber daisies. We have salvia, or maybe even lilac. It looks very similar. And then hydrangeas. And what I'm doing is I'm just cutting these off, and I'm just going to make a nice round arrangement to go around the outside edge of this. So I'm going to start with the Gerbers. And the good thing about silk and permanent botanical is that you can shape them, you can twist them, they can go wherever you want them to go, whereas a fresh arrangement, you might have a stem, and the stem is going to be straight, and you can't bend it and shape it the way that you want. So it's one advantage of making arrangements with silk flowers. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to place these Gerbers here and there around the outside edge of this. Silk flowers are very easy to care for. Obviously, you don't have to water them. There's really no care that way. If they get dusty, just take a blow dryer to it. Take a soft cloth, and just wipe it down. Now, to cover up the Sahara, I'm going to use little pieces of the foliage that that have been cut off to cover up that oasis, Sahara. All of these flowers, I picked colors pinks and purples because they're in season right now. It's a nice springy arrangement. This is something you could give as a gift for holiday, Mother's Day or birthday, somebody moving into a new home, maybe somebody getting a new job. Lots of things that you can do with this. And I'm just cutting off the foliage and inserting it in. I have a couple of other containers too for today. This is actually a really nice artificial version of lilac. It's really quite beautiful. And I'm trying to pick up on the purples and greens that the container has. Tools that you would need if you're going to make silk arrangements, you need heavy-duty wire cutters. These are probably 20 years old, very, very sturdy. You need them to be very strong because if they aren't, sometimes the stems of silk arrangements are very thick. And if you don't have a very sturdy pair of wire cutters, then you'll have a very difficult time cutting the wire that's in it. So I'm basically just filling in and around, covering up the Sahara. I'm so used to doing fresh arrangements. And another advantage to the artificial is if you cut it too short, let's say you cut it here, but you need the stem length to be longer, all you have to do is take, this is floral tape. And what it is it's not a sticky kind of a tape like Scotch tape is, but if you wrap it around itself, it sticks to the surface that you're doing it with. It sticks onto itself. So all I'm doing is I'm going to take and put the wire right next to the stem and take a little piece of tape and then just twist and turn. And while I'm doing that, I'm sliding the tape down farther and farther. You can't do that with a fresh flower. Once you cut it, that's pretty much it. As Virginia said, the next time I come, I'll be talking about seedlings and perennials and annuals. This is the time of year that garden centers and florist shops have them. It's a difficult time of year to plant them because you have to be very careful about the weather. And with the weather in New England, it can be warm today and then not so warm tomorrow. So that'll be an interesting discussion. Okay. I'm just filling in. I'm not really giving it a angular shape. I'm just kind of doing a round, sort of a roundy-moundy, so that the focus here really isn't so much the flowers as it is the birdhouse and the little birds that are in the birdhouse. And it's very full. Add a couple more pieces of the white poppies. Artificial flowers have really come a long way in the last 10 years or so. When I first started designing 20 years ago, artificial flowers looked like they were artificial, whereas nowadays people come into the store and they look around and they see all these beautiful flowers all over the place, and they're amazed when they learn that they're not real. They're artificial, permanent, botanical. And it's really beautiful, and access to all of these plants and materials that you never saw before. It's just really much nicer, much better than it used to be. Now this one was short, so I'm going to peel off a couple of the pieces so that I get a good grip on the stem. And then I'm just going to wrap it again with the tape. Our flower shop does a lot of custom artificial design work. If you have, let's say you just bought a house, or you're remodeling and you want some, you have special wallpaper or carpeting, you want a new look, you're welcome to come into the flower shop, and you can sit down and talk with somebody about what your requests are as far as colors and stuff. If you bring a piece of fabric with you, we can match it and make something that will coordinate very nicely in your new room or your new home, and we're happy to do that. This is just about done, and as you can see, you aren't able to see any of the Sahara anywhere. And the finishing touches on this are a little bird with a worm. It's going to stick right in there, and the sun. And that's relatively quick and easy way to do that particular bouquet. Now we have a couple of other arrangements that I'm going to do. This is a 24% lead crystal vase. It's for the holiday. It's called the hummingbird vase, and the detail is it's finely etched on the inside, actually on the outside, and really a very beautiful container that can be reused again for flowers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an insert in it that will allow me, because I wouldn't want to take the Sahara and just stick it in, because you'd be able to see it through this beautiful glass. So I have this lovely cobalt blue liner that we're just going to put in there, and then I'm going to put the Sahara, which is the material for permanent botanicals, and I'm going to dip it in the hot glue, and then push it down. And the good thing about this is if you want to keep the silk arrangement in it, you can, but if you decide that you want a different look, you can just pop out the liner and then just put fresh flowers in the stems just all by themselves. This arrangement, I'm going to do what's called complementary colors, which today are going to be blue and yellow. And if you look on the color wheel, these colors are opposite from each other on the color wheel, and they're very, very pleasing to the eye. You see a lot of blue and yellow together. And this is a very popular color for people decorating in their house these days. It used to all be pinks and mauves and burgundies and stuff, and now we're seeing a lot of yellows and greens and blues. These are really good quality tulips. They look just like the real thing. This is a silk type of baby's breath. This is yarrow, which you can grow in your own garden, and white daisies, and forsythia. And instead of doing a round arrangement like the last bouquet, this time I'm going to do one that it's going to be a one-sided arrangement, meaning one side of the arrangement, you would put it up against a wall, or so that there aren't flowers all the way around. Or if there are flowers all the way around, there's definitely a front and a back to it. So. And again, these heavy-duty wire cutters will save your hands. I'm just going to pop off a few of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a very definite line. This forsythia, this artificial forsythia, is absolutely gorgeous. It looks just like the real thing. I've really never seen it quite so nice. And the advantage is that it's wired, so you can take pieces of it and you can twist and bend and turn and put it in any kind of position you want, so that it just doesn't look stiff and flat. So I'm going to start with this. And again, these good heavy-duty wire cutters this wire is very, very thick. So sometimes it's difficult to get through it. And let's see, I'm going to do it so that the hummingbird is facing frontwards. So again, I'm just inserting it into this material. Very, very durable. This will last a very long time. You really don't have to do anything to it except dust it off once in a while. And they've actually put some real sticks in here in addition to the artificial ones, which is kind of cool. Makes it look that much more real. Now in design school they would tell you, if you were doing an arrangement like this, to be proportional. The flowers should be 3 times the height of the container for it to look proportional. Now this isn't something that you have to stick by, but see what I'm doing, it's going to look very, very natural, as if it was just growing. Because forsythia doesn't always go perfectly straight. Sometimes it curves and bends, and sometimes it hangs down. Now I'm going to take the tulips, and I'm going to do a European style of designing, which is called clustering, where similar types of flowers are all clustered together. So all of the forsythia would be in one area, all of the tulips would be in another area, grouped together. It's called clustering or grouping. And I'll have these at varying heights. I never used to like silk flowers, but like I say, the last 10 or 12 years, they've really come out with some very, very realistic looking flowers. And I'm bending it. Tulips don't always grow perfectly straight. So I'm just going to sort of bend and twist them so that they look like they're growing naturally, because they do tend to curve. And I'm going to also use your foliage when you're making arrangements and it has foliage. Foliage doesn't grow perfectly straight. It bends, it twists. Sometimes it flops over. So it's all wired, so you're able to do that. You have a lot of freedom with artificial. Freedom in that you're able to make it do what you want it to do, as opposed to being stuck with, you know, a stem that won't go in the direction that you want it to. Okay. Now I'm going to use the yarrow as a filler flower. I'm going to group it. I'm going to use it as a base, and I'm first going to take the foliage from that, because you really don't want to be able to see the Sahara. So it needs to be covered. You can use sheet moss or Spanish moss. I didn't happen to bring any, so I'll just use the leftovers of the greens from the last arrangement and just do them all very low, because I want this to look like it's a very natural and naturally kind of growing arrangement. So I'm just taking the foliages and I'm putting them down in very low and trying to cover up that Sahara. You can even take a piece of Sahara, not piece of Sahara, but piece of the foliage and dip it into the hot glue and just lay it across. Lay it across so that it's covering up that oasis. I don't want to have this very bushy. So it's that less is more kind of a thing. This hot glue, there's many, many different forms of hot glue. This is a hot glue melting pan. It's basically just like a little frying pan. It has a temperature gauge. I think it goes up to like 400. And then you buy little pieces like this, and you just pop them in there and plug it in, and it melts and is quite sturdy afterwards. And another way too, if you want to make sure that your arrangement doesn't move around or doesn't go anywhere, you can dip each stem into the hot glue before you insert it in. I haven't been doing that because these are pretty durable. So what I'm doing is I'm going very, very low. This type of flower is perfect for doing lower sections, and this technique is called basing. So basically what I'm doing is covering up that lower part. Now what we have here, as far as flowers goes, is an all monochromatic, meaning all one color. But it does have the blue in the liner, so I want to pull some of the blue. It's always a good idea when you're making any kind of an arrangement, whether it be fresh or silk or dried or whatever. Think about the container that you're using, and if that container has color in it, to make it look, the continuity-wise, to make it look good, you want to make sure that you have a touch of the color that's in the container. Now, obviously, with glass, you know, there is no color, so you could do anything in glass. But where this has a blue liner, I wanted to insert some blue flowers into it to pull that blue color all the way up through the design. And I'm gonna have some of these low and some of these taller. And again, this is a beautiful, beautiful container. You'll be able to reuse this many, many times. And if you get tired of the silk arrangement that you have in it, you can bring it back to your florist and they can fill it up with other flowers, or you can take the liner, pop the liner right out of it. I won't do it right now, but it's very easy to do. And then just put fresh stems of flowers in it. And this arrangement is basically done too. Just very simple. Oh, I was going to add some daisies. Just add a couple of stems of these very realistic looking little white daisies. Just a touch. There we go. Very simple, very quick. Now I have one more that I'm going to show you. And this is called the Splash of Spring Bouquet. And this is, again, a reusable, very nice, heavy-duty Teleflora product. It's kind of retro in that it looks like something from the 60s with the bright colors. We do a lot of arrangements just with multicolored tulips that pick up on the color of the container. So instead of taking the Sahara and just inserting it in where you could see it, there is a plastic liner. So I'll just pop that in and then dip the Sahara in the melted glue and then just push that in. And for this arrangement, I picked out colors that are similar to the container. We have the pink poppies, we have burgundy hydrangea, green viburnum, and yellow poppies, and snapdragons. And I'm going to make an all-around arrangement with this. You want to start with your tall center flower and then just work your way around. Just going around and around in a circle. This is really easy to do. Practice is the best thing. It used to take me forever to put these together. Now it only takes me, like less than 5 minutes to put together an arrangement like this, if I have all the material on hand. So I'm just filling it in. And the best piece of advice I can give as far as making silk and permanent botanical arrangements is get a really good wire cutter, because otherwise your hands are going to be killing you. and it won't be anywhere near as much fun. And as you can see, the colors of the container are being brought up through. Just going to take a couple of pieces of the foliages. And another good thing to do is have depth, and depth meaning some of the flowers are in deeper, some are out farther, and that just gives it visual interest. When you look at it and you see that there's something tucked inside, it makes you want to look closer. Of course, as it gets full, sometimes it's harder to push them in there. And so I've just put the different colors, sort of spread it out all the way around. And I am going to add the burgundy to it. But instead of taking the whole piece, I'm just going to take a few pieces and just wire and tape them. Whoop. And again, you can pop the liner right out if you get tired of the arrangement, and then you can bring it back in and have some new flowers. You can change it for the seasons. It really is a very bright and colorful. I picture this for a 16-year-old's birthday, or you know, Mother's Day, or a hospital arrangement. It's very, very, very appropriate for any of those things. I'm just putting the burgundy in a little bit deeper. Just wiring and taping. I've had a lot of practice, so it doesn't take me long. But I do remember those days when I first started out that I would be half a day trying to do one of these. Now I'm going to check to see if I can see the Sahara. There's a couple of places where I can, so waste not, want not. Use these little tiny pieces of extra foliage to cover up those bare spots. Not a whole lot of waste, not really any waste at all. You can even use the leftover stems to make other pieces that are too short longer. It's a very happy little bouquet. You could see this in a hospital room. So Virginia, have you got a good pair of wire cutters?
Nope. Oh, John may have a pair.
John does? Okay. Yeah, just go into your husband or your boyfriend's toolkit. I'm sure they have a good, sturdy, heavy-duty pair. I think out of the three, I like the blue and yellow the best.
They're all beautiful. As far as I'm concerned, they're all beautiful. Really nice.
Thank
Well,
you.
Ron, thank you very much, Cindy. I know, Cindy, you had to go to school. And so where did you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I went to a floral design school in Florida. I worked in a greenhouse all through high school, and my senior year they let me work in their flower shop, and it was like cream puff work, or I thought it was cream puff work compared to lugging around bags of soil. And so when I graduated from high school, instead of going to college, I went to a 6 weeks intensive course on basic floral design. And from there, I came back to Maine, and I got a job 2 days later, and that was
That's
21
wonderful.
years ago.
Long time.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
21 years now,
Uh-huh.
right out of high school. But I still take classes, and you know, there's always
But
new
you've
and
earned a
different.
title too with the
Yeah,
Florist,
I am now part of American Institute of Floral Designers, which is a non-profit organization that does seminars and teaches other florists about design and tries to make the public aware of different types of flower arrangements and flowers in general.
Well, they certainly are beautiful.
Well, thank you
And
very
made a
much.
nice job. And we expect you back here now in at least a week or two.
Sure.
So?
Yep.
Okay, fine. I want to thank you all for watching, and good night. Good
Night.
night, everybody.
Thanks.